So you know that feeling when you open up YouTube to maybe watch 1 or 2 videos and suddenly 3 hours have gone by and you realize that you've been binge watching the same creator the entire time. You're not entirely sure why, but something about their YouTube channel made you click one video, then another one, then another one. But here's the thing, if you can recreate that feeling in your own content, if you can get people to binge watch your videos, then your channel is going to start pulling stupid amounts of views, trust me. So in this video, I'm going to give you the one simple trick to creating addictive, binge-worthy content that's going to put you ahead of 99% of other creators out there. Alright, so first things first, we need to actually figure out how to make people binge watch our content. Because if YouTube or any social media platform sees that people are binging through your videos, then of course they're going to show your content to more and more people, because by getting viewers to binge one video after another, you are literally making that platform more money. It's as simple as that. And I've thought about this a lot. And the way to get people to binge watch through your videos is not going out and buying an expensive camera or adding crazy Mr. Beast dopamine editing or anything like that. It actually all comes down to just one thing, and that is becoming what I call a magnetic creator. And let me just show you what I mean by that. So this is me years ago filming my first few videos. And watching these back now is honestly so painful, because I remember I was trying so hard to be professional. I was trying so hard to sound like other creators who I looked up to at the time. And because I had that mindset, the videos just feel completely empty. There's no energy, there's no personality, and I just come across as kind of inauthentic. And I think the reason for this is because I'm naturally a massive introvert, so putting myself out there and speaking to a camera is not the easiest thing in the world for me. And because I was so in my own head and, overthinking how I was speaking and worrying about being cringe, I wasn't actually thinking about the person watching the video. And the views I was getting at the time definitely reflected that. But eventually I realized I needed to switch something up. I needed to figure out why some creators feel so magnetic to watch and how they're able to make you binge watch their videos one after the other. So I started studying the creators that I personally binge watched, and some very clear patterns started to emerge. I realized that the thing that was making them successful wasn't their niche, it wasn't their script writing, it wasn't even their editing. And when I step back and look at it now, it's actually so simple. And it all comes down to just 3 principles of becoming a magnetic creator. And if you can nail these 3 principles, then your audience will grow, you'll make a ton of money, and your life will change forever. So the first principle to becoming more magnetic is to embrace the cringe. So when I look back on my old videos, the biggest problem wasn't the camera, it wasn't the lighting, it wasn't the script, it wasn't the editing. It was that I was terrified of being cringe. And I can almost guarantee this is something that is holding you back as well. Maybe you don't want to show yourself on camera because you think it will be too cringe. Or maybe you don't want to tell certain stories because it makes you feel uncomfortable or weak or vulnerable. But trust me, getting past that and just allowing yourself to be cringe is the first step to seeing real results as a creator. It's almost like being cringe is the price of entry to becoming a creator. So when I studied the creators that I personally binge watch, the pattern is obvious. They're not worried about being cringe or hiding their actual personalities, and that's why some creators feel so magnetic, because they're actually leaning into being a little bit cringe and also 100% authentic. Okay, so principle number 2 is the familiar face effect. And this is maybe one of the most important ideas when it comes to becoming more magnetic and also creating binge-worthy content. So I want you to think about a TV show like Friends, for example. Why do people endlessly binge Friends? Well, it's not just the storyline, and it's not even just the characters. It's because every single episode gives you the same warm, nostalgic, familiar feeling every single time. When you put on an episode of Friends, you know what to expect and you know how it's going to make you feel. Well, it's actually the exact same thing with content creation. So think about the channels that you love, or think about the channels that you binge watch. They probably don't just post random content about everything. I guarantee that there's a specific message or a specific emotion or a specific energy throughout their videos. And that is why you keep coming back to their content over and over again. Not because every video is radically different, but because their videos feel familiar. Again, you know how the videos are going to make you feel. So maybe a certain creator makes you feel inspired, or maybe another creator gives you a very warm, cozy feeling. And that's why you binge watch these creators, because you're looking for that same feeling over and over again. So the third and final principle to becoming more magnetic is definitely my favorite one, and it's being unmistakably human. So I know people throw around the word authenticity all the time. It's become one of those generic pieces of advice that every guru repeats in every video. But at the end of the day, it's actually very good advice. Like, if you're not authentic as a creator, then you're not going to get anywhere. But on top of that, being authentic is more important now than ever before because of AI. So right now, AI can write scripts, it can generate video ideas, it can edit videos, it can create videos completely from scratch. And in 5 years or so, it's only going to get better at all of that, which means that any video that is very safe or very polished or very professional is about to become the bare minimum. It's about to become the baseline, which is kind of scary. So what that means is that in the future, the only real way to stand out long term is going to be to lean into the one thing that AI cannot do by definition, and that is to be unmistakably human, meaning your opinions and the things you talk about, they cannot just come from a book, and they definitely cannot just come from ChatGPT. They need to come from things that you've actually lived through. They need to come from your real human experiences. Because now AI can generate advice, it can generate information, but it can't tell a literally real human story and all the tiny relatable details that come along with it. And at the end of the day, it's those relatable, slightly cringe, real human stories that are going to put you ahead of 99% of other creators out there. But having said that, if you do want to learn how to use AI the right way as a content creator, then click onto this video just up here and I'll see you there.